making a map from scratch, you will start off with something like this. The default Minecraft Fe2 map making kit, which has all the special things in it. If you want to start out something new, you can use the reset map feature in the GUI, right there. Or if you want to edit a map that has already been made, what you could do is you can load its script. So as an example, I will go ahead and load magmatic mines, load, see? And then what you will do is you will go here, map loading and rendering, and then you will load map. And what this will do is it will load magmatic mines in this instance, all the physical parts, but it won't have any of the special interactives such as spawn points, buttons, and the exit region. So the first special interactive I'm going to go over is the spawn point. The way that you can find these interactives is you go to map editor tools, right click, interactives, and spawn point. And then you just take the firework, you place it down like so, and then to set the spawn direction, you can hit F3, and you will find here, facing south. Okay, so we're facing south, so we want our players to spawn facing south. So you can go to map settings, and then spawn direction. It's already south, so just don't even rechange it. Easy enough. Next up, we have buttons, which will be the main interactive in the map. So how buttons work is when a player gets close, the game will detect it, and it will run a pre-existing script loaded in the map script, and it will do something pretty much. So for instance, in Magmatic Mines, the first button, when it's pressed, it drains the lava down to reveal a second button. Then that second button will place a platform around there to allow players to jump up and get further along in the map. So we'll go over how to script them later, but for the moment, if you would like to make a button exploding, you can do /tag @e type equals shulker distance equals 2 add explode. Keep in mind that because distance is less than or equal to 2 here, this will make every shulker around us an exploding button. Well, it won't work for stuff that's not a button, but it will make every button nearby an exploding button. Next interactive is the air tank. And what the air tank does is it just adds 300% to your oxygen meter, so you can last longer in water and acid. Force-free lava, you're still gonna meet a pretty swift end. But the way that air tanks work is, as usual, you'll just select them in the interactors menu, right there. And then you'll right-click where you want them to go, and then when a player runs across it, they'll collect it. But more deep into the code, how it works is each air tank is assigned a numerical value. So because this one was placed first, it's 1. Because this one was placed second, it's 2. So if the player collects 2, they won't be able to collect 1. So make sure when you're structuring your maps, you have 1 up front, an easy spot, and then 2 is after that. Next up, we have sliding arrows. Sliding arrows are pretty much just a visual indication to let the player know that they're going to have to press their shift button pretty much. So we just go like that, easy enough. And you don't have to use them, like we could put something like this for instance and still just be able to slide under just fine. But these are pretty much used everywhere where you're going to slide in Minecraft Fe2 and normal Fe2. And if you don't want them anymore, we can just hit that easy little button, remove sliding arrows, and that gets rid of all the sliding arrows on the map. And wall jumps. As the name suggests, you would jump on the wall and then crouch off to be propelled in the direction that the arrows are spawning. So because the arrows are spawning on this side, we will be propelled there. And if we were to jump on that wall jump right there, we would be propelled that way. So if arrows were spawning on this side, that way, that side, that way. Pretty self-explanatory. So just watch whenever you place a wall jump where the arrows spawn. That was embarrassing. But if I was to use this wall jump, see if I can get on it. See, I was launched that way. And if you were to do something like this, you would still be launched that way. It doesn't reset the value, so you would have to remove this wall jump and then replace it with a block still there. And now we'll be launched that way. So there you go, that's pretty much everything you need to know about wall jumps. Alright, so next up we have the rescue point. So the rescue point will summon a blaze, and think of it as like a side quest. So your main objective is to escape, right? And survive. But if you have time, and you are so willing, you can go up to one of these points, rescue the blaze, and he will be with you until you complete the map or unfortunately drown. So how these work is you just place it down. Force rescue is enabled, So every time there will be a rescue that you can do. And if you have multiple, the game will just pick one. One round will be this one, the other round will be that one. And next we have zip lines. So zip lines are honestly really fun. So what you have to do is you put the start down, and then you'll put the ending point down, right? And then it will connect, just like that. And then if you want to change like where, or the length of the ride pretty much, or the shape of it, you would just get a connector, spawn one there, and then we go to the connector first, and then we go to the ending zip line. You can even do multiple connectors, so you can do like one up here. And for some reason the particles does display, but it still does work. So, easy enough. Just be careful when you're using multiple zip lines. The game does not like multiple zip lines for whatever reason. Hopefully in the future I can fix that. So, but just keep that in mind. And if you want to get rid of connectors, just hold crouch near them for a little bit and then they'll just go away. Then obviously you can get rid of these, like splash potions or just punching them, just like everything else. And now we have exit region and exit block. So exit region, think of this as your goal. This is where players want to be, and this is where the map will end. Then exit block, what that does is it literally just blocks the surviving players from getting back into the map. So once you cross this, there is no going back. So after we have built our map, and we have placed all of the interactives in there that we want, we can go to our map editor tools once again, map loading and rendering, and use this convenient save map feature. Now keep in mind when you use this, this is a temporary save. So once you leave the world, your map will be reset to whatever was last saved via this method, which is just structure blocks, save. That method is not fun, but that method writes it to the actual file. This one is just like a temporary save. So we have our button here, button 1, see, because the stroker scores a button equals 1. And how you know which button is number 1 is obviously the first one that you put down in your map, so just keep track. And button 1's always easy to keep track of because button 1's always green no matter what. And then what the game does, hey has been pressed, is it above its goal? So if it was a group button, it could have a goal of like 2 or 3 even, maybe possibly. And then run is performing the action. So in this case, we are running a set block. You could do a fill or a clone as well. And what that will look like if you're doing like a fill or a clone is you will have something like this: fill, tab, tab, tab on one corner, and then you go to another one, tab, 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 and then you will add 2000 to each X value, because this is where the map gets loaded, because the saving point and the loading point are different, and we're scripting to the map be modified on the loading point, right, not in the save point. Why we want to modify our save when we're not playing in that area, right? And then you can just do whatever you want. You can do stone, you can do air, you can do redstone, whatever you fancy. So, fill if you want multiple blocks, set block obviously if you just want one, and then clone is where it gets a little tricky. So clone, you can have something like here, clone, and then let me just get the other corner. Okay, so we have our lovely coordinates, and then it kind of like clones like from the corner, or from a corner. So there we go. Obviously watch for if you're cloning like lava, stuff like that. And then yeah, keep in mind, if you do eventually add this map in as like a community map or a main map following another tutorial, that getting coordinates from this is not going to work. So you're going to have to use like reference coordinates with the little tilde there. And basically, so 42 blocks this way in the X direction. If it was negative, so if it was negative 42, it'd be this way. Then in the Z direction, we're going positive. So because we're at negative Z coordinates, we are going down, but actually up. Then if you want the other way, you would just change that to negative. And then Y value, simple enough, Y down if you want to go down, or Y up if you are going up. So what I did here is I placed a redstone block over here because I have like a little delay. because this is the lava draining button on magmatic mines. So it's literally just like a little delay, and that's what these are here for. They're here for stuff like this, delays and timed events, as opposed to keeping them all in the flood script, because the flood script is not fun, which I'll go over next. So scripting the flood, you're going to want to start on the emerald blocks probably, as the emerald blocks kind of serve as our in-game clock. So what this does is adding a score of 1 to flood every Minecraft tick. Then it will go up here, and we'll see. Execute if score, that should be flood. If score flood matches 20 or more, so basically every second, because 20 Minecraft ticks is equal to 1 second. We're going to do scoreboard players add, that should be seconds, flood 1. And then up here, we are just going to reset the value. So that should be scoreboard players set flood 0. So once again, just go through that. Every Minecraft tick, add 1 to flood. And then we're going to check every tick as well. And once its score is above 20, or matches 20, we're going to add 1 to seconds. And then we're going to reset the timer. And then we're going to use that seconds value over here on the diamond blocks. And we're going to say, hey, execute if score seconds flood matches 2. Basically saying, hey, if 2 seconds have passed, we want to run this command to fill something to air. And you could obviously make this lava or water or sponge, whatever you want to do, right? And if you want to change water states, for instance, you can do run scoreboard players set water round and 2. And this will set the water state to acid, water, and lava. Easy enough. And if you're doing like rising lava, which you probably are, you'll have to change each Y value. So we can just pick one that's probably lava, which is right here, see? So this is doing after 41 seconds, fill lava, and then 42 seconds, fill it again, but the Y value is up 1. So basically we're just going up 1 every second with lava. And it's obviously changeable. Like say if we don't want seconds, we want half seconds, we can just change that to 10, because 10 ticks is equal to half second in real life. If you want something longer, like 40, that could be 2 seconds. So instead of having to be seconds, 2 seconds. Then you could do execute if score 2 seconds matches 1 instead of seconds matches 2. But personally, I would probably just stick with the seconds. And if you have like a crazy map that you're doing, maybe go down to half seconds, because that's easily discernible. Don't do what I do and just do flood and a bunch of numbers. It gets confusing. Do something like half seconds, seconds, milliseconds, whatever. Whatever works for you. And then just some last things. Make sure that you save your map. This will save everything, including the script. So you can always just do that last, or if you just like minor map updates, just go ahead and hit that save button. Keep in mind this is not permanent. It's basically a temporary save. Permanent save is going to each structure block and hitting the save button. Annoying, but unfortunately Minecraft does not allow that temporary save to be written to the file, like doing that. Another thing, the item that gets selected when you are voting. This is basically like your map name, I like to think of it. So obviously default in here will be map making kit. If it's empty, it will probably be map making kit as well. But what you can do is with the websites I linked in the description, you can go ahead and find a player head and then a lore setting up give command pretty much. So what you do is you go on there, you'll find a head. So I just found Shrek here. I put it in there, added some text, and now we have Shrek. Get out of my swamp. And then what do you do? Get that out of here. You put that. And then you'll hit save. And then you will go ahead and leave after that's done. Map saved. Awesome. Then we'll get out of here. Leave editor. Make sure that you were on the map maker game mode. And then you just walk right in. Vote map. Shrek. Add free vote. So it will update the lore. So unfortunately you won't get out of my swamp. Then your map will load eventually. And then, as soon as it finishes, you can play your map. Number 1, Shrek Normal. And because this is Magmatic Mines, I just have the script in there for Magmatic Mines, so I don't have to rescript anything. As you just heard, that button was exploding, like we set up earlier. And yep, everything's working. And made an Minecraft Fe2 map. Congratulations. Death. Alright, thanks for watching guys, have a good one.